Hey y'all, it's V. Welcome to my channel, and today I have decided to do a video on alkaline water. We're going to talk all about what is alkaline water, what are the benefits, my own personal experience with a new alkaline company or alkaline ionizer company that I just discovered. And I just want to give you the ins and outs. I want to test water today. I want to look at the pH and the ORP levels, and I just want to give you the cold hard facts. This channel is all just about being open, honest, raw, and sharing some of my experiences that have really elevated the life that I continue to live. So I do want to start with a precursor. I am not an expert. I am not a scientist. I am just someone who is self-educated and a strong advocate of all things health and wellness and all things water. I guess I'm a little bit water bougie. A lot of my close friends know that when it comes to water, I know that it's the wellspring of life. I know that it's most of us is made up out of water. So for me, water is extremely important to my overall health and optimizing my entire self, my mental, my emotional, my physical. To break it down, there's been a huge alkaline water craze. Like everyone and their mama are trying to get alkaline water, buy alkaline water, and all of that. And I think that's great. I'm so glad that people are being a lot more health conscious, especially about water, because I think that, I don't know when it occurred, but there's just been a lot of, what can I say? There's just been a lot of mistrust that's been built around the water services that are offered currently with bottled water, tap water, even spring water. I wanted to branch out when it came to that. I know I'm also going to share my own personal experience later on in the video. So basically, what is alkaline water? Alkaline water, simply put, is any water that is over 7.0 pH level. So a lot of different waters, usually our tap water is going to be 7.0 and below. Our bottled water is also going to be 7.0 and below. But whenever it's above 7.0, that's when we're going to consider it alkaline water. Most of the alkaline water that people drink is going to be between 8.5 and I want to say 9.5. Once you start getting to 10, 10.5 and 11, not to say that you can't drink that water, but they usually say it's not necessary. A 10 and above is usually for things like cooking, because whenever you heat alkaline water, the pH lowers, and that's a really important thing to know. But the thing about that, that it's really easy to get misguided when it comes to finding out that alkaline water is anything 0.7 pH, because you can make any type of water 7.0 pH or higher just by adding different chemicals or additives, okay, or different like minerals to the water. So a lot of the water bottled companies, that's what they do. So whenever you test the pH level, you'll get that alkaline pH, but the benefits of the alkaline water that we're usually talking about is attributed to ionized alkaline water. Simply put, ionized alkaline water or ionized water, it goes through the process of electrolysis. And literally, electrolysis is just the decomposition of water. It's breaking it down into its smaller pieces, your hydrogen and your oxygen. It took me years to really understand the difference between all of that, because I was always researching distilled versus spring versus bottled alkaline water versus getting alkaline water from machines. So it was just a lot of education that I had to go through, and I actually had to do tests and try all of those different types of water until I got to this point here. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the benefits of alkaline water. So the benefits of alkaline water is usually going to be the sole reason people are getting the alkaline water, and I'm going to share it from my perspective, the different things that I've experienced, although if you go online you're going to find so many more things, but I feel extremely blessed because a lot of the things that I've experienced are right on to par with what they said would actually happen by drinking alkaline water. And just a precursor, I've been knowing about alkaline water for 5 or so years. I've been actively drinking it now for almost, oh my goodness, 3 or 4 months, and but I've been drinking it on and off for the last 5 years. But now that I actually have an ionizer machine that I love so much and that I use, that's in my house, now I drink it all the time, the only type of water that I drink. But some of the benefits that I've experienced is definitely a lot more energy. I drink about, let me see if I have my water bottle. Is a lot more energy. So I drink 4 of these a day, and that's about a gallon of water. I'll talk a little bit more about my experience of why I drink so much water every day a little bit later on in the quick water education. If you are not, so the way that I calculate how much water I'm supposed to drink is that I drink half of my body weight in ounces every single day, if I'm not doing anything at all, which would be 2 of those bottles that I showed you previously. But that's if I'm not doing anything all day. I have a very active job and I exercise a lot throughout the week, so that means I up that to twice the amount, and I drink a gallon every single day. I think that that's a good average for most people to drink a gallon, especially if you weigh a lot more than that 140, 150, you should definitely be drinking a gallon, and that makes all the difference in this video. But so because of that, I have a lot more energy. The digestive system is amazing. The digestive effects of this are amazing, and the digestive effects of being really consistent every single day, they're combined with the fact that you lose a lot of weight when you drink this water. I think since January I have lost 15 pounds. Well, actually before, no, I had lost 15 pounds from January all the way to March. So in 3 months, I'd already lost that much weight, and now I've just kind of kept it consistent across the board. Also, you're gonna have recovery time from exercise is gonna be great. So I work out about 3 to 5 times a week. So I'll go to the gym a few times and I'll run a few miles during the week as well. So 3 to 5 times a week is when I work out, and I've noticed that when I drink my alkaline water, especially consistency, my recovery time is great. Less cramps, less soreness as well. I've also just had better skin, a faster growing hair. I've noticed that the mucus in my system is definitely decreased, or the mucus in my system is a lot more thinner than it used to be. So for example, I've had bronchitis this year already, and whenever I was drinking more of my alkaline water, the bronchitis that would have lasted in my system for like weeks, because you know that bronchitis lasts for like 2 to 3 weeks. A lot of that is based on nutrition, but because of that, I just increased I increased the amount of alkaline water I was drinking, and with that, with the mucus that comes with bronchitis, it thinned out a lot more quickly than it had previously when I wasn't drinking alkaline water. And so what I've learned in my research is that when it comes to the pH levels of our body, the more acidic the temperament, or the more acidic your body is, that's where the disease actually ends up thriving. So if you have more mucus in your system, I believe that mucus disease is just an accumulation of mucus in certain parts of your body. So the thicker the mucus, the more discoloration in the mucus, it generally shows you the overall health of your body and your level of sickness too. Now I want to tell you about what ionizer machines are, because it took me a long time, like I said before, it took me a long time to get here, because for me, I had already heard about ionizer machines. I had heard about some of the top brands, and I'd also heard about the expense of some of the top brands. So I'm going to share just what in general ionizer machines are. They are, to me, the most convenient and cost effective to a certain extent machines, just because if you're getting the bottled water, a lot of that bottled water, like we talked about before, it's actually not going through the process of electrolysis, okay? So the process of electrolysis, it's when they divide also the alkaline water versus the acidic water. So that's actually what the ionizer machine does. It goes through that process, and you can usually see it on the machine I have. I can see that process on the screen. It shows me as it's dividing the 2 different types of water. And so the bottled waters are just going to have the minerals in it, whereas the ionizer machine is going to actually divide that water, go through the process of electrolysis. It's going to make sure that it's charging the water with hydrogen, with negative hydrogen. It's going to be adding the antioxidants. You can always see when water is truly ionized, whenever you're going to see the water bubbles inside of it, and that's my favorite thing to see. So I woke up this morning, and the alkaline water I had poured last night is bubbled up. You guys, this is a super, super good sign of it being oxidized. This is how you know you have real 100% alkaline water and that it is working, okay? Look how beautiful all those bubbles are. I love to see this. I can't wait to drink it. So whenever I see the water bubbles inside of my alkaline water, I'm like, yes, I have all of those antioxidants in there, because that's a sign of having all those antioxidants. I will say that the antioxidants they don't last for days on end. That's why it's always really great to pour it directly. Like, you just get it from your alkaline machine and drink it within the first like 5-6 hours. And that's when you're gonna get the living water. You're gonna get all of the added health benefits of your alkaline ionized water. And for me, that's how I made the final decision between, am I gonna get it bottled or delivered from a company? Because by the time it gets to me, the 5 to 6 hours has already passed. Like, it doesn't have all of those antioxidants that it previously did. So I was really interested in getting an ionizer machine. And then finally, what an ionizer machine, it's gonna break down the water molecule, so it's gonna make it easier for your body to absorb, which I really love. I've noticed that when it comes to my water intake when I was on spring water versus now, it seems like my body is truly absorbing the water I'm drinking now, because I'm actually going to pee less, just to be frank. Whereas prior, I don't think that my body absorbed all of the different, like just was able to absorb all of the water into my system, so there was a lot of excess waste. So I've explained what ionizer machines are, and now I want to talk about my experience getting this current ionizer machine that I have now. I'm currently using an Air Water Life machine. One of the best purchases and investments that I've ever made, and I'm gonna explain to you why. Like I told you previously, I have been knowing about alkaline water for the last 5 years. I am someone, like I said before, that water is a really important part of my life. At one point, I was getting water delivered by, I think it was mountain water? Yeah, I think it was mountain water. But either way, I was getting that delivered, and I was getting like those huge 5-gallon huge 5-gallon jugs, and they came in glass jugs, and I really liked that because it felt like the water was crisper instead of being in plastic. So it came in glass jugs, and I think each one was like $18 for one of those 5-gallon glass jugs. And ultimately, I think I was spending like maybe $80 a month on that. So $80 a month on those multiple 5-gallon jugs, and they weren't even giving me all the benefits that I'm getting from alkaline water now. The machine I currently purchased is $500, so if you really do the math on that, the spring water I was getting previously, that's 80 times 12 months. I think that's already like $960 that I was spending on, and that was going to be a continuous expense as opposed to just a one-stop investment. So let me back up a little bit. So I was getting water that way. I also had done a little bit of research through Kangen water. That's the only alkaline water I knew. I didn't know of any other alkaline ionizer machine. All I ever heard when I went online was the Kangen. So I was like, okay, this is so cool. But whenever I went to that site and then other sites, when I started learning more, I realized this is actually really out of my price range. I can't afford that tagline of like $2,000, $3,000, even the $4,000 that some of the representatives would try to sell me from other companies. I was just saying, I love the benefits of water, but I cannot afford that. It's just simply put, I could not afford that. So with my experience, I finally found Air Water Life, and it was so odd how I stumbled upon it, because I feel like previously in my 5 years of learning, trying to find more affordable ways to get an ionizer machine, I never found Air Life water. But they've been existing for a while, like decades, and so that was surprising to me. I don't think I was researching hard enough. I think that I got to the point I was doing a fast, and I realized that with that fast, it would be even more effective if I had alkaline water. So I was like, okay, now it's the time. I'm ready to start investing and finding a better machine. And when I found that, Air Water Life, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And the reason that it was so awesome is that because the machines start at like $530, and I think the highest they go to is like $1,800, and for like the best top of the line machine. I was skeptical, guys. I was like, I don't know. Are you a liar? Are you a scam? I don't believe it. But I decided, I went online and I went to their website, and I was highly, highly impressed. I love a company that is transparent and that is educational. Okay, not only did they have all the charts comparing them to other companies. They have everything that comes with the alkaline water. They have tons of videos, and they had an educational component to it. There's a tab, I believe, on the website that says resources, and when you go to that, or resources, either it says resources or education, and whenever you go to that, you can find tons of information about alkaline water or ionized alkaline water and why it's so important. And I feel like any company that's willing to educate me on their product and educate me on the benefits of something that is so crucial to our lives is a company that I felt really impressed by. I felt really aligned with, and I definitely resonated with them, and it made me trust them. That's the biggest thing. It made me trust them. But I still had to figure out, what is the difference between why is your product so much more economic than the other products that I had seen on the market. And so I decided that, you know what, I'm going to take the gamble. I'm going to order this machine. And at that point, I already learned about the pH levels and the ORP levels. So the ORP is oxygen reduction potential. And that I'll tell you a little bit more about it later, because I'm gonna test the ORP of the water from the machine that I currently have. But essentially, that's gonna tie back to the antioxidants and the bubbles and all those little things that I told you previously. And so I knew that if a machine gave me a pH of above 7.0, or if it gave me the pH of 9.0 and above, that okay, it gives me an alkaline water, but I needed it to have the negative ORP that the other companies that I knew were very expensive, it also offered. So I was like, okay, let me go and invest in an ORP meter. And so I bought my ORP meter. I can actually link you with the one that I got. The first one I got, I didn't really like, so I actually ended up getting one from Milwaukee, and I really, really liked that one. And so I got that. And then I bought the ionizer machine from Air Water Life. And when I got, they even sent me some samples too. They sent me some of the pH testing samples, which was really, really dope. I appreciated them doing that. And they also sent me a bottle. And I love this bottle because I'm bottle bougie too, guys. I am bottle bougie, I am water bougie, I'm putting it all out there. But the reason that I love this bottle is that I'm a 32 ounce girl. Like I have to drink my water in 32 ounces because I can easily carry 4 bottles this size around the house, or just in my day-to-day living. What I usually do is as soon as I wake up, I drink an entire one of these 32 ounces. That gets me going, gets the day started really well. Throughout the day, I'll probably drink 2 more during my work day, and then at the end of the day, I'll drink 1 more. So I'll get my 4 32 ounces, but which equals 1 gallon. Either way, this bottle makes it really convenient for me. I'm showing off a good product. These are good people. I really appreciated them. And so I really like this cap. Makes it really easy to wash and clean. This strap is everything. I hike a lot, so this makes it so much easier to hike with. And overall, keeps the water crisp and clean, BPA free. I'm usually someone who likes stainless steel or the glass bottles, but this has been up to par with my stainless steel and glass bottles. So let me just take a quick drink.
I've been really trying, baby, trying to hold back.
Every time, so good. So yes, like I was saying, skeptical, but I bought it anyways. I will say, my setup, trying to set this thing up, first time was a fail. Not really handy, kind of an impatient person, and I'm really busy, and so when I was trying to set it up, I wasn't able to do it because I didn't have the correct sink head. I have the ones that you pull down, and that's not compatible with this with any machine really. And so I tried to set it up in one of my bathrooms just so I could test the ORP and test the just so I could test the ORP and the pH, because I wanted to just see if the water actually was up to par, and if it wasn't, I was going to return the machine. But I actually ended up messing up my bathroom sink because I'm too rough and I didn't know how to do it. And so what I ended up doing the next day, I was so excited. I was like, okay, I called my handyman. I said, hey, buddy, I really, really need your help. Could you help me set up this machine? And he was like, yes, I will. But I realized that, first of all, he's going to fix my bathroom sink. And then I realized he can't set up my machine because I don't have the right water spout. This is where Air Water Life's customer service comes into play, because I called them and I had one of the best customer service experiences I've ever had. And I used to work in customer service and hospitality, and so I know a good customer service experience when I see one. First of all, I want to shout out Mason.
Mason is the man, guys.
Mason is the man, hands down, an awesome person. Whoever hired this guy, please promote him. Do not ever fire him. He's awesome. I really appreciate him because he gave it to me straight. He helped me with the educational component. He helped me find an alternative of how to make my new machine, my Air Water Life machine. I actually got the cheapest one, by the way. I got the $530 one, and he helped me figure out a way to make it compatible with my sink. He told me about all the options, because I know that you could have it under the sink. I was like, I don't want it under the sink, that's inconvenient, I want it on top. So he introduced me to their tower. You'll see it later in the video, there's a tower that you can use in order to make it compatible with your machine. And so he shipped that out to me. They got me like next day shipping. I paid for next day shipping, but he was still really convenient and helpful with that. And he also, just because I was just raving about their site and talking about how excited I was to start using their machine, he actually sent me some of these bottles too. So I was like, Mason, you're the man. And since then, he's checked in just to see how my overall experience has been, and it only just keeps getting better. Now, this last bit, because I reminded you that I was skeptical. I need to explain to you why I was finally able to connect. Why was I finally able to get rid of that skepticism outside of actually testing the water? Because my biggest thing was, why is this so much more economic than the other options? And I did some research and I talked to some people, and I realized it's because some of the other leading ionizer machines, I don't know a lot of the different names, but I know that there's the standard of like the Kagan machine. And then once I did more research, I found that there's a lot of other machines too, and I realized their business model is very different from Air Water Life's business model. Whereas Air Water Life, it goes directly from factory to consumer, and so it cuts out the middleman, it cuts out all the extra expenditure. It's very similar to why some things on Amazon are cheaper than actually buying it in the store, because there is no middleman between all of that. They can just get it directly from online, shipped to you. You don't have to go to a store, you don't have to go to a different person, okay? Whereas a lot of the leading ionizer machine companies, they have what we call MLM, so multi-level marketing. So essentially there's that middleman who's selling you the machine, and then whenever they sell you the machine, they get parts of the proceeds of the profits, okay? And because of that, these companies have to find a way to pay their people. And so because they have to find a way to pay their people, they have to increase the prices of the machine. So once I realized that, I was like, oh, okay, so it's not that it's not comparable, it's that they just have a completely different business model. So with that entire experience, I was ready, I bought it, and let's see. Oh, Air Water Life actually has something similar, not exactly the same, because I'm sure that the other companies pay their people a lot more, but the Air Water Life does have a referral program, which is really dope. I think at the end of the video, I might just link you my little referral code if you're interested in getting a slight discount on the machine. So they try to help people out with the financial, I think they called it helping people with their financial health, which I thought was a really cool way to put it. But the thing about it is, I really hope they don't get tempted to make that a bigger part of their business model. Because just intuitively, I feel like if that's what happens, like if they start making like the referral programs like so huge, it's gonna kind of turn into a multi-level marketing. And I really like, not that it's really up to me, I'm not the CEO or any big shot in this company, but I really like what they're offering now. And they have a lifetime warranty, something that you're not going to get with a lot of the other companies. So a lifetime warranty, so if it messes up, they got you, they can replace it for you. In addition to that, they're one of the only companies that all of the plastics that touch the water are FDA approved, which is, I mean, it's important because you want to make sure that there's nothing toxic happening with your water during this process. So that is my experience, and I'm gonna take you down for us to do a little bit of testing of the water. Okay, so perfect. I'm gonna show you a little bit about my setup with my Air Water Life machine. In a perfect world, whenever this is completely decluttered and looking good. So we have my machine here. This is my Air Water Life. This is their most basic machine. And the way you can see the setup of it, that all of it is connected through these white wires, and it goes to this tower that I was telling you previously. I just want to show you what it looks like whenever it's all when it's all running. So this is the faucet I told you about. That's why I can't automatically connect my machine from here to here, just because I have this pull-out faucet. But I love that they have a solution to that. And also what I love about this is that if this water is on, that doesn't necessarily mean the machine is on. And whenever I pull this lever, right in from this tower is where the acidic water comes out, and then the alkaline ionized water is going to come out from here. Magic. And then already, so this is where our acidic water is going to come out. So that's the electrolysis process as it's dividing those two different types of water. Okay? And it also keeps up with how many liters. If I can remember correctly, I think it will do 6,000 liters for me, which is a lot. So whenever I turn the water on, it takes see this process that it's purifying, the electrolysis, the dividing of the two water, and then you have the alkaline water, which is going to come out of this stream here. You have the different levels. So something I noticed is that whenever I looked at reviews on YouTube, I noticed that the machines that they were reviewing didn't even have the company's information on it, which I thought was really odd. I don't know how I'm supposed to trust someone's review if it doesn't actually have the name of the company you say you're reviewing, even though it literally looked like the exact same machine, but it didn't have the company's name. So it could have just been any kind of random replica. So right here, this is gonna be your pH levels. So I believe right here at neutral is going to be 7.0 pH. This is probably going to go up to 8.5. I honestly, I'm not 100% sure just because I always do it at the highest setting, which gets me a 9.5 pH. So this is 9.5, this is probably 9, this is 8.5, this is 8, and then this is 7 right here. This machine is supposed to, I believe, go up to 9.5 to 10, and I'm getting like a solid 9 to 9.5, which I'll show you in just a moment. And down here is going to be your acidic water if you want to use it for any of the following. I never use my acidic water other than for watering my plants. I have my two glasses. This fancy one is going to be my alkaline glass, and then this one is going to be for my neutral pH. Get some of my normal water. And we are going to test the pH. I'm only going to add a few drops to each one. I'm literally using this chopstick as my mixing situation. 3, 4. That's enough. Okay. So we have a light blue situation going on here. So if we were to compare that and that, it looks like it's like at a 7.58. But let me bring it closer for all of you viewers to see. Yeah, I think it's like in the 7.5 range. Okay, 7.5. And then next, for this one. Woo, see color. And a drastic difference in color. But we don't gotta talk about it. Let's use our eyes to see how much different these colors are. So this darker blue one is definitely 9 to 9.5 level. 9 to 9.5, I would say. It would be really cool if I had a tool that would tell me the exact pH, but I am guesstimating here, but it's definitely a higher pH, that is for sure, okay? So now that we have this, two different things, I am going to test for the ORP. With my ORP kit here, I got this Milwaukee kit. Previously I had something else, but I really, really like this one. They give some great directions here. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this up. And it turns on, and as soon as it turns on, it starts testing the ORP of the air. So as you can see, I have a positive air quality, which means I don't have antioxidants going into the air. So first I'm going to test this tap water, which is my source water, and see where it's taking me to. This usually takes a few minutes, but it looks like it's focusing, it's going up. Which the higher it goes, that means the lower my ORP on my alkaline water should be. I'm just gonna leave this here for just a moment. Looks like it wants to settle on 386, okay? So our source water is a 386. So let's go ahead and see what our alkaline water is. You see the numbers are dropping. Numbers are dropping. Ooh, it's going heavily into the negatives. Yes, I love when this happens. This is my favorite part. So that I can see how negative my ORP is. And remember, if it was a positive 386 before. Now this is saying that it's almost at a 400 ORP. Pretty phenomenal. Let's see where it settles. And these ORP meters are super sensitive, okay? So I went from a 386 to a 149, okay? I'm doing the simple math here, 386 to 149. That is a ORP of negative 545 because it had to move. That is because it had to move from a positive 386 to a negative 149, which gives you an overall 943, which is 945, which is pretty phenomenal. Okay, that means that it's almost 100% as advertised. Oh, and so all in all, I would definitely rate my experience with Air Water Life as really great. Down from the order experience, which was a 10 out of 10. It's very easy to order online. They often have little discounts as well. To the setup experience, the setup experience is probably what the hardest part was. I'd probably give it like a 9 out of 10. But the product itself, I would definitely give it a 9.5 out of 10. Just because I would give it a 9.5 out of 10 because I got the most basic one. So I get the most basic specs that they offer, but I do plan on upgrading to an even higher one. The price is definitely a 10 out of 10, hands down. I can't beat that price, especially because if I would have purchased the water bottles and such like that, I probably would have been spending like $2,000 every single year. Customer service, 10 out of 10, hands down. Basically, guys, I'm really happy with this purchase, and I'm glad that I was able to share it with you because I really want people to know about this great company. I want them to know the things that they do, and I also want them to know that achieving being a bougie water person like myself, or really just like being able to achieve the highest quality of water is possible at an affordable price. So just shout out to Air Water Life. Thank you so much for, thank you so much for creating a product that is affordable for people who really want quality water. If you're interested in ordering one, I'm going to put a link below, or referral link below, that every time you order, you get a discount off of your ionizer machine. Okay. I appreciate you all so much for watching. I've enjoyed this. Goodbye.